My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now. Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramerica. Other people make friends. I'm just trying to make you a little money. My job is not just to entertain, but to educate, explain, and teach you. So call me at 1-800-743-CBC or tweet me at Jim Cramer. So let's see. We got 2 wars in the Middle East. We got another one going in Ukraine. We have a presidential election race going on between like a older gentleman, so to speak, and a slightly younger gentleman who's the subject of 4 different prosecutions. May not even be on the ballot. We got an immigration crisis, wild budget deficits, possibly intractable inflation that may delay the Fed's rate cuts. And what happens? Today, the Dow Jones gained 395 points. The S&P surged 1.23% to a new all-time high, and the Nasdaq pole vaulted 1.7%. You know what I say? Phenomenal. Yet, if you want proof that none of this stuff means anything to the stock market, just look at the incredible performances we got today. See, they are a function of record profits, fat gross margins, driven by a strong consumer, and very strong enterprises. And just as important, they're a product of all the negative billionaires and strategists who come on our air and other places and urge you to hide your money in cash, only to see stocks generate amazing returns that put that 4.13% you can get from the 10-year Treasury, which is supposed to be so comforting, to shame. The money's being made now, people. It's being made now. A lot of the gains have come because of an absence of corporate news. We've had a smattering of reports so far this earnings season, but nothing dispositive, as analysts trip over themselves to recommend whatever's been going higher, even if their comments are simply the spur for the moves that's taking it higher to begin with. But that ends next week, people, when we get into the meat of the order, the part of earnings season that happens, and it comes fast and furious, which could bring some profit taking, maybe even serious profit taking. See, we've seen that happen in the banks. That was the group that reported first, and those sold off. Now we're getting the rest. The airlines have seen some strong travel demand and rising costs, which is winning. United Airlines will tell us on Monday when it reports after the bell. Also Monday, I'm a big believer that a new PC cycle is upon us. But you know what? I'd like to get some empirical data to back me up. Maybe Logitech, that make your peripherals, will give it to us when the company reports that evening. Now, that stock has been a real winner. I don't know if you checked it out. Tuesday, a little close to home for the Travel Trust, Procter & Gamble. I can't see a blowout here because the dollar got too strong, and that's a big determinant of Procter's earnings, as they do so much business overseas. But it's good if the stock gets hammered. That will be your buying opportunity. It is a dividend aristocrat. Next, I think Verizon will do well because it's been able to put through some price increases. I never say anything good about Verizon. I just did. 3M is putting its litigation wars behind it. May finally spur some buyers if the company can just come up with some meaningful new products that can turn into blockbusters like they used to. General Electric's on the verge of separating the energy business from the aerospace business, and part of me wants to say, you know what, if this stock can finally come down, even just $2 or $3, we got to pull the trigger. We got to buy some of the Travel Trust, but it never does. Yeah, take a look at that chart. GE does not come down because Larry Culp is amazing. He's the CEO. J&J reports too, and I think it'll be terrific. But the numbers won't matter because of this brutal talc litigation. If they can announce any sort of settlement, that stock can rally 10 points in a flash. Let's hope they've got some horse sense. Now, let's see if RTX can put this remedial engine problem behind it. Meanwhile, we want to hear from Lockheed Martin about any increase in the defense budget. And last but not least, there's D.R. Horton, the gigantic home builder, who will give us a preview of the spring home buying season. I trust them more than any of these national numbers we always hear about. That's just Tuesday morning. After the close, Netflix reports, and everyone says it'll be a blowout. So you know what? It'll probably be a blowout. Today, an analyst, by the way, on this one, this was very what I regard as quizzical. Analysts came out and said that Texas Instruments, which really reported a subpar quarter last and actually really bummed me out, will put out a much better one Tuesday. And just on those words, the stock leaped more than 4%. That's amazing. It's just amazing. On an analyst report. How hungry is this market for good news, huh? Wednesday, AT&T reports, and many think this quarter is going to be as strong as Verizon's. But history says we got to wait on this one, so I say we wait on this one. I like Verizon much more. We met with Abbott Labs last week when we were at the J.P. Morgan Healthcare Conference in San Francisco, and I thought they told an excellent story. Robert Ford's on his game. But I know that the stock tends to open up. Then people suddenly start finding fault in some line item that never makes any sense to me, and then it gives up the gain and more. And it's only the next day when you want to go buy Abbott because every box will be checked. I've seen this pattern so many times that it is nauseating, but I've come to accept it and try to profit from it. After the close, we hear from Tesla. At this point, it's so low, I suspect the fanboys will buy it and stabilize the stock, but that's what they did, by the way, with Bitcoin today. You see that Pyrrhic effort to try to keep it up? Anyway, I'm cynical, but I'm also accurate. Next, two good ones. There's IBM, which is now capable of telling you an excellent story about how to integrate AI into your business. And then there's ServiceNow, which is the principal AI integrator in the entire market. For my money, ServiceNow will probably have the best single quarter of this entire week, okay? Hey, by the way, when Lam Research reports, I bet management will be conservative and not call the bottom of the semiconductor cycle, despite what Taiwan Semi said. So I'm going to do it for them. It's the bottom of the semi-cycle. All right, Thursday, Union Pacific. It's going to have a good quarter like that because the stock's been telling you that. I do not think the facts will contradict that. Hey, someone downgraded Sherwin-Williams the other day, and when we see that quarter, I think that someone will have to send me a very, maybe even embossed, if not signed, invitation to their funeral. After the close Thursday, Pat Gelsinger, the CEO of Intel, will tell us how much better his firm is doing than every other firm, not just in the semiconductor industry, but in the whole tech sector. No, and maybe in the entire universe. I think he'll say it's doing better than every company in the entire universe. I like hubris. He's got tons of it. But if you want the numbers to go higher, go listen to the Visa conference call because that's consistently told a solid story. And, by the way, they have what I call something that's in short supply on this wall, humility. Also on Thursday, PayPal is an analyst meeting, and I think that this new CEO, Alex Chriss, who I've been raving about, who sat down with David Faber the other day, I think he's got a vision for the company. I love the way he kept saying, we did this one, we did this one, we did this one, when he hadn't done anything wrong. That, I really think, is good. That's good coaching. On Friday, we get the personal consumption expenditures number that the Fed likes so much. It's their favorite read on inflation. We need to see a weaker PCE if we're ever going to get any rate cuts. People call it the PCE because they want to confuse you and buffalo you. I don't play that game. American Express reports on Friday. I can tell you that this company has a history of reporting solid numbers like Abbott Labs, except for some line item like bad debt expense, and then everyone freaks out and they send the stock down $3, $4. On this second day, when some analyst tries to downgrade the stock, you need to buy it because the company's actually killing it. I thought he was very good on Scott's show today. That's Steve Square. He's a dynamite guy. I feel these analysts don't feel the need to say something negative when the stock goes down because they're looking at the stock. They don't have a clue themselves to say, oh, the stock's down. Let me find something negative. That's what they get paid $2 million a year for at the start, okay? Now, one stock that never loses its luster is Colgate. It just had a good run from 68 to 80, and I suspect it can go higher thanks to its higher margin pet foods. I use Sensodyne. Finally, one of the most reliable companies out there is Norfolk Southern. I have Crystal from Norfolk Southern. I'm not kidding. And judging by the positive comments about intermodal freight from J.B. Hunt, the big trucking company, a railroad like Norfolk Southern, their numbers should be positive. Bottom line, can this market keep this up? Only if we still have plenty of people out there bad-mouthing the market. Sell, sell, sell. And calling it dangerous and perilous, like billionaires like to. See, they don't want more billionaires. I actually want more billionaires. Anyway, we need the wall of worry to grow even higher. That will ensure that we get higher stock prices as it dawns on investors that the worries are wrong and you can get back in and get bang for your buck in the stock market and do a lot better than you can in that vicious rival, the 2-year. Mark in California. Mark.
Happy Friday, Jimmy.
Good to have you.
With retail spending continuing to be strong, my stock has 4 different pipelines to make money. Brick-mortar stores, deals with Target and Elf Beauty, and a direct order club that has 1 million-plus people already tied in. Do I still have 4 cents investing in Ulta Beauty?
Let me see. But what did they give us today? Did you check today what they gave us? Let's see. Ulta, we got... They had a really good bargain I saw the other day. I'm an Ulta Club member, and I think it does fabulous. And I think Ulta is a terrific stock. And I wish they would summon us to go to one of their stores because their stores are quite beautiful. And I like the stores in Target. And I was dismayed to see CVS pulling out of some of the Targets. So I like my CVS in my Target. Let's go to Trey in Texas. Trey.
Jim, I mopped the floor with Wall Street's returns in 2023, and I'd like to do it again. Today, I'm calling about a stock that took my confidence level from 40-year-old virgin to 50 shades of Trey. At a 90% weight in my portfolio, this is a stock that, should it get crushed, I'll lose everything. Jim, give me the Messi of AI, Palantir Technologies, for $25 a share. Final answer.
Okay, here's my problem with Palantir. I like them, but the last quarter was not that great. It really wasn't that great. And I thought he was excellent from Davos. I don't know why he doesn't like me. I've been a really good guy. I said good things. I said next to his CFO. I was really nice to him. I put a napkin on. I used the fork to the left and, the solids to the left and the liquids to the right. I did all that stuff right, but he had no time for me. He had no time. Solids to the left, liquids to the right. I can do the napkin because I was a busboy for many years. My table manners did not impress the CFO, and they won't speak to me. So I got to tell you something. I'm getting a little bummed out and a little sad. Okay, Palantir. Now let's go to Kyler in Nebraska. Kyler.
Hey Jim, I want to ask you about SMCI, Super Micro. Even with a red hot start to 2024, market cap is still only 20.
That thing is a monster. It's a manster. That's not a monster. It's a manster. I love the stock. It's just crazy. But all that said, I think NVIDIA is better. But Super Micro, I mean, they ought to change that. I would call it Super Duper Micro. And then it would be more like, Scooby-Doo. Anyway, if the world worry and the market keeps growing, then I think we can start moving higher. We just need more billionaires who want you in your chains. All the negativity out there will only fuel more gains as more investors realize that you can get a lot more out of the stock market than with the 2-year. Man, buddy, tonight, coming into 2024, we've been intrigued by the recovery in the regional bank stocks, and I'm revealing 5 names that I think are worth watching and did quite well this week. And we use this season as a way to get a sense of a host of macro trends, because we got to know more than just what the Federal Reserve tells us or what all these people come on our air and have no idea what they're talking about. I call them gas bags. I'm running the report of JP Hunt and telling you what to do. Plus, rate cut or no rate cut, does your portfolio have what it takes to handle the ever-changing market? I'm surveying the portfolios of Cramerians everywhere when we play MI Diversified. So stay with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on X. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadMentions. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.